Hey, hi.
Hey, hi.
This is Brett James Bishop checking in with the If You Like reviews. Today, I'm going to be sharing my thoughts and my feelings on Fantastic Four First Steps.
Now playing in theaters.
If you like Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1 or any of the early Phase 1 Marvel movies, then you're probably going to like this movie if you go in with those expectations. If you're looking for something a little more serious, a little more grounded, like Avengers Endgame, this one's probably not going to be for you. Now, my history with the Fantastic Four is I saw the last three films. I've never seen the 1994 film that was made and kind of buried for a long time until it finally came online and people were able to finally see it. But I did enjoy the 2005 Fantastic Four. I thought that it was fine. I had a good time watching it. The cast was hit and miss. I think Michael Chiklis, if that's his name, plays the Thing. I think that they were really going for the sad, he's like an outsider type feeling that he doesn't belong. Now he's a big rock creature. And that carried on into the 2007 sequel. And while, again, those two movies are cheesy and, that bachelor scene in the second film, definition of cringe. When I rewatch those movies, I actually skip past that because I really liked Lawrence Fishburne as the Silver Surfer. I thought all of his scenes were great. I thought that movie had great action sequences and set pieces. So I really liked the 2007. Again, super flawed, but it's a fun kind of guilty pleasure. Then there's the 2015 Fantastic, what is it? Fan Four Stick is what they call it. Like it had weird spelling for the logo. Yeah, that one was really bad. However, there's something with this movie that I compare to that movie and vice versa. So I'm going to get into that in here in just a little bit. But let's start talking about pros, shall we? This summer has two movies with a pitch perfect cast. Superman and now Fantastic Four First Steps. The cast here has such great chemistry together. They work so well together. They really do feel like they're a family. That's something that no one's been able to break before now. And it all really goes to all of the great actors that they have in this. Joseph Quinn, I was not sold on him in the trailers, playing the Human Torch. Johnny, I just was not looking forward to him. He really impressed me. Like this guy, again, keeping my eye on him and a couple of different actors in other movies this last summer. Like, there's a few really talented younger actors that are coming up, and this guy really owns this role. And what's funny too is that this isn't the cast that they initially wanted to go with. This was not the first choice for Marvel, but somehow it became the best choice for Marvel. With Pedro Pascal and also Vanessa Kirby, they really own these characters now. And I also liked Evan Moss-Backrack. I think he brought a lot of really just nuance and charisma to the Thing. Really played it in a way that Michael Chiklis didn't. It was really almost the opposite, which I really enjoyed and got into, and I was on board. I was really on board with this cast. And the movie also is very, very charming. The first half of the movie is kind of a new style and for a Marvel movie, and they kind of take it into directions that Marvel hasn't really gone before. The pacing is pretty quick and fun, and the tone of it. And I actually loved how they showed the origin for the Fantastic Four without showing the origin. They show how they're being beloved by everybody on Earth, that they're Earth's protectors, and everything is just absolutely wonderful when it comes to this. Also, the humor in this, they did take a back seat to a lot of the sarcasm, like the really edgy sarcasm. There is sarcastic jokes in here. It's a family. They give each other crap every now and then. But the humor is really teed up well. And it actually has good pacing as far as like setting that up and hitting those lines, the punchline. Couldn't think of the word. Sorry, guys. Yeah, the humor was a lot of fun, and really, again, you felt like this was like a family. So with all the casting and the chemistry and the tone of it, the charm and everything, it's great. Also, the stakes I thought were really great as well, because this shows that once fear is used as a manipulation tactic, everyone turns to anger. And it just shows that everyone's on board with the Fantastic Four. Then Galactus, the Silver Surfer arrives and announces Galactus is going to be destroying and devouring their Earth. And then when they go to the confrontation with Galactus and come back and saying, hey, he wanted our kid. This is in the trailers, by the way. So no spoilers, of course. But, he wanted the kid in exchange for the whole world. And everyone's like, give up your kid. And they're like, that's a line we're not going to cross. I mean, the integrity of that and the family lines through that, I thought, man, these stakes are great because they're losing their popularity with the Earth, but they're not going to give up their baby. And I thought, this is great. Yeah. And then we're going to go to the cons. But first, I need my doo-wop group to remind you to do something for me.
Thumbs up likes the video, a click subscribes, and don't forget to share. Yeah!
So as I said, there is the fresh style and pacing of the first half of this movie. But after that confrontation with Galactus and this rip-roaring sequence that follows that, it's probably the best sequence in the whole movie. The movie does dissolve into a basic Marvel movie. It has its pacing issues in the second half, and it doesn't ever find that fun pace and that really cool style again. It just kind of checks off boxes from what was set up in the first half of the movie. Now, this is where I do a little comparison to Fan 4 Stick with this movie. In Fan 4 Stick 2015, the first half of that movie is not bad. It's not comics accurate, and it's definitely a different take on the characters and the story, but it's not bad. The cast is pretty good in that movie. I don't know. But, the first half was tolerable. And then they do this jump through the years in the future, and it just goes off the rails, and it's just terrible. This movie's not that. It doesn't go off the rails, whatever, but it does. It's where the first half is so good and sets everything up really well, and then it just becomes a Marvel movie. It's not that that's necessarily horrible or really bad, but I really wanted it to get back to the fun pacing and style that the first half had, instead of being kind of bogged down by what it presented. I wanted them to almost attack the story and the climax of the movie in a different way, where it was a little more original, like the first half of the movie was. I mean, the ending is rushed, especially the Silver Surfer's character arc. That's pretty rushed, and I just felt like we could have had a lot more with this. This movie honestly could have been a 2-part movie, and to where we could really get those big stakes coming up with Galactus and whatnot being played out a lot more. So, but for what it is, though, it's still a blast. It's still fun. I mean, that's me almost being kind of nitpicky, I guess, with the second half. It's not that it's bad. It's just not as... It just starts really well, and then there's this wonderful action set piece, and then from there on out, it's just kind of like your basic Marvel thing. But the stakes are so good, and they do so well with the characters and the chemistry that you go along with it, and it doesn't feel like it's a letdown. It's just not as fun. Also, this movie has some mid-credit scenes. I think they're missed opportunities. I know. I'm sorry. But the end credit scene after all the credits is something that's just goofy. It's just for laughs. The mid-credit scene is setting up what's coming next. But in that regard, it's no Samuel Jackson, Nick Fury coming in to talk to Tony about the Avengers Initiative. It's nothing, but it should have been to that level. Not literally Samuel Jackson being there. No, but who they introduced in that mid-credit scene, that should have been that level of a scene where it gets you that excited. Again, I know you did last summer reboot that came out last week. That is, I think, may go down this year with the best mid-credit scene, because it got you really excited about what potentially could come next, and that's what I feel like this scene should have had. It should have been a little more punchy. It's just there. It just happens, and then you cut back to the credits. So I'm going to give Fantastic Four 3.5 stars out of 4, even with all of its flaws, and some of the special effects are actually pretty hokey, especially with the baby. Like, there's some bad CG in this, but it is still a solid movie, so I'm going to give it that 3.5 stars out of 4, because it was a blast overall. Those are my thoughts and my feelings on the Fantastic Four First Steps. What do you guys think? Were my recommendations for the If You Like good? Did it get you excited? Did it fit your expectations when you see it? I'm excited to hear from you. Comment down below, of course. Share this video and have fun, and I'll catch you on the next one.